another episode of Unmuted. I'm your host, Courtland Warren. In this podcast, what we really look to do is assist you in finding your voice so that you can impact your world. One of the questions and topics that come up a lot in my years of personal development is around the idea of having a fear of success. So we're going to explore that today and really examine, kind of drill down a bit on what the fear of success really is and how practical it is, and if whether or not it's actually something that can be moved through. So when we think about it, right, the fear of success. Well, first, let's start with the fear of failure. I think the fear of failure is one that makes a little bit more sense, right? Like I can fear failure because, I don't want to be embarrassed or I don't want to be criticized. I can fear failure because I don't want to look bad in front of people. I want to maintain my image and so forth. So, and it's very, it's very common practice to do the things that we're good at, right? No one wants to be laughed at. No one wants to be ridiculed. No one wants to be criticized. So that would make sense. The fear of failure, right? I don't want to look bad. I don't want to not win. And though this idea of the fear of success, like when we really think about it, why would a person truly fear success? I asked this question last week during a training, and I was really surprised at how broad the perspective was on this idea of fear of success. And so I asked the question, so, we looked at fear of failure. Okay, that kind of makes practical sense. But why in the world would someone fear winning? Why would we fear achieving? Why would we fear success? And so I put the question out, and all of a sudden hands start popping up, popcorn. And I have no idea what's coming, but things started to really emerge. Why do you fear success? Well, it's because of, the responsibility that I'm going to have. What do you mean by that? Well, once I'm more successful, then I have responsibility of care for more people. Someone else said, well, the fear of success for me is really about leaving people who are important to me. Like if I really start to go as hard as I can, I run as fast as I can in my life, then, they're going to be family, friends, relationships that I leave behind. I'm like, okay, I go to the next person. So what's the fear of success about for you? Well, for me, the fear of success is being able to maintain it. Just really being able to sustain it for, an extended period of time. Like what happens when you get there? And then what if I fall off? I'm like, okay, great. And so I'm taking in all of this information from really, highly successful, big time achievers. So fear of success for you, what is it about? Well, I don't want to be, I really don't want to be in the light. I don't want to be out front. And we started to explore, we drilled down on that one a bit and determined that, our society really doesn't treat the winners well. I gave the example of, in pro football. Now, I'm a San Francisco 49er fan through and through, okay? But I remember when the Patriots were on their run and Tom Brady, and people, it's like you started to, after the first one, after the second one, okay, but then third, fourth, fifth one, you start to hear things like, I'm tired of seeing them win. Like, I'm tired of them. I get tired of them winning all the time. Like, and granted, not necessarily from true sports fans, but that always kind of stood out to me. It's like, why get tired of them winning? It's not like winning championship number 5 was not as hard or easier than, say, winning championship number 2. And what is it about our world that really starts to get fatigued and exhausted by those who continue to win? By those who through and over and over and over again, they put in the work. They have the discipline, they put in the practice, they have the system and the processes that lead to them continually achieving. It's interesting to me how we tire of them, how we get a bit of exhaustion as a result of seeing the same people win. It's my thought that really greatness and high levels of achievement is not for that person who is just like a flash in the pan, but that one who over time consistently delivers, knowing that it's expected of them, knowing that someone's counting on them to come through, knowing that a livelihood is dependent on their ability to to showcase skill and be superior in that skill when the pressure's on, when it matters the most. And that's not just in sports. We can look at that in business, in what you do and your responsibilities for your family. If you're listening to this podcast, you're likely a person who knows what it means and knows what it feels like to have the pressure of delivering, to feel the weight of coming through over and over and over and over again. And to, yes, be fatigued and sometimes be exhausted. And yet you also know what it's like to have people that matter to you count on you. And so this idea, we started to explore that one really deeply, this idea around the fear of success and if whether or not I have what it takes to continue to deliver over and over and over and over and over again. And so what we really determined was that the fear of success was really a misnomer. The fear of success it's really the fear of responsibility. And because we know what success brings with it, the fear is not in the actual achievement. The fear is in the responsibility that achievement mandates. See, we know through the law of polarity, right, that there's no such thing as all good, right? The law of polarity states that in order for anything to exist, the opposite must exist also. So with that in mind, you can't have an up without a down. There's no positive without negative. There is no, good without bad. There's no light without darkness. It's also true that you can't have success without experiencing failure. And so if you truly go out and you start to win and you achieve, you excel, you make it happen, then you know that to balance that out, in order for that success to be maintained, then you have to also have the opposite. And so the fear of success is less about the fear of achieving and reaching those heights as much as it is really about knowing that there is a responsibility that comes with the achievement. And so it's more about a fear of the responsibility. And then when we look at, the fear of responsibility or that feeling or sense of overwhelm, you're a person, you can relate to what it's like to complete one thing and then look to see how much more there is to do and how tired that can be and sometimes how frustrating it can be to make some headway only to realize that there's still a long way to go. And so sometimes, maybe not you, but there are definitely those who choose the route of comfort, the route of mediocrity. They just go to the place of, why does it matter? Who really cares? It's not going to make a difference anyway. Those are the justifications that are used when a person gives in to the responsibility of their potential and to the responsibility of what they're capable of. So the fear of success, which is really the fear of responsibility, is really a belief that is rooted in the idea that I or you or we don't have what it takes to sustain it and maintain it. That what's required is too much. That what's being asked of me is beyond what I have the ability or the capacity to do. We really strip it all down. What you're really saying is this challenge, the challenge of success, is bigger than me. Now, you're likely a person who, because you're a high achiever, you don't like the sound of that. You don't like the sound of like, whoa, now, wait a minute. It's not bigger than me. It's not, no, it's not bigger than me. And you're right. It's not. You're resourceful. You came into the world with everything that you need to be, do, have, whatever you can imagine. You are resourceful enough to create a life by your design that is fulfilling and one that matters. So then how do we do it? How do we reshape, reframe this fear of responsibility so that you're not settling for mediocrity, so that you're not choosing comfort over greatness? How do we do it? It's done in really 4 steps. 4 steps. Number 1, we have to identify what the limiting belief is. The reason why that's important is because everything is energy. And the highest form of energy is a thought. Your belief is essentially an ingrained thought or thought habit. So we got to identify what's the belief. Is it a belief that you're not capable, or a belief that it's too much, or a belief that you're not smart enough, or a belief that you can't handle it? What is the belief that has you hesitant to truly go all in on what you're capable of? Identify the belief. And then number two, the second step after you identify the belief, then the step two is to identify the event or the experience that led to the belief. See, coming into the world, I imagine that you were a blank slate. Okay, you don't have a belief system or a real belief structure. Now, Bruce Lipton and the study of epigenetics, there's more recent research and science and data around this. But in general terms, you come into the world a blank slate, you're a sponge, and you just take in information from your environment. And from that information that you're taking in, you have interpretations that lead to your belief and belief structure. Make sense? Okay. There are certain events and beliefs, certain events and experiences that we really have an emotional connection and attachment to. And those beliefs are what shape, those experiences. You know what, let me just back up to make sure I got that in straight, okay? So you come into the world a blank slate. You don't have a belief structure. You have your environment, and your interpretation of events and experiences within your environment are what lead to your beliefs. Got the idea? Okay. Now, and there are certain experiences and beliefs that you have a deeper emotional connection to. But again, they're shaping what you believe about yourself, about other people, about life, and about the world. And what happens is, from those experiences, we shape our beliefs. And because of how remarkably powerful you are, you will go out into your life and attract into your life events and more experiences and people to add confirmation for you around what that belief is. So if the belief is, I am brilliant and I am talented and I am wealthy, if that's the belief that gets put in place and you are emotionally attached to that, then you'll be that type of person who everything you touch turns to gold. You'll always find yourself in just the right place for the wonderful opportunities. And then someone else is like they're always waiting for the next shoe to drop. They're in just the right place at just the wrong time, and as a result of that, they can't seem to get a break. It's important to understand that there is no esoteric being, I call God, that sits high and looks low and is picking and choosing who wins and who loses in life. That is categorically false. It's simply not true, regardless of what others might argue or have you believe. That is not happening. Oh, you get to have a good life, but you're going to struggle. Yours, it'll be okay. You get to win big, but you're going to be a peasant. That's not what's happening. You are in many, man, it's really not arguable that in our lives we become what we think about or what we believe. And so you have what is the belief? And then we have to identify what was the experience or the event that led to that belief. And then if it's a belief that you want to transform, then we go another step and we have to re-experience the emotion. We have to re-experience also the event. We're not going to reenact the event, but we do need to re-experience the emotion of it, allow ourselves to get emotionally involved, emotionally connected to that event again. And in the re-experiencing of it, we assign a new meaning, a new frame, give it a new story. Now that's a longer that's a longer process. The process, it can likely be done faster, but the process that I lead people through is about 3 days of us working on that. But it is possible to do it. You have to re-experience the event, meaning you allow yourself to feel the emotion, and in the re-experiencing of it, you move to step 4, which is reframe. That's where you tell yourself or you implant a different belief now that you know better. Okay, so for example, my big event was at 4 years old, my parents divorced. The belief, my interpretation of that, I know better now, but my interpretation of that at 4 years old was I'm not lovable and, I'm not good, I'm a bad kid, whatever. It's my fault. That was the overriding belief. It's my fault. Okay. So through the work of transformation and understanding how it really works around belief, I go back to the event, recall the experience, recall the memories of it, allow myself to get emotionally connected or involved with it. And now with the awareness that I have today, I can put a new belief in place instantaneously. And as a result of that, because that belief gets transformed, I have a new option that I live my life with that doesn't say I'm not good enough, I'm not deserving, and I move forward in my life more in alignment with what my potential says I'm capable of. Does that make sense? Okay, so those are the 4 steps, all right? It's first, identify the belief. Maybe you've already done that. Number 2, identify the event or the experience that led to that interpretation of, that belief. Then part 3 is re-experience it, emotionally connected and attached. Allow yourself to feel it again. And then step 4 is reframe, put a new story in place. That new story has also been called, in addition to reframing it, or a new story, a new program gets put in place. But really what you're doing is you are enhancing your self-image. And what we know to be true is you will never act consistently in any way that is inconsistent with your self-image. It just won't happen. You have to make sure that your self-image aligns with the results that you desire to create. And if you do that, you're going to win. If you do that, I'm just telling you, you're going to win. All right. So I hope this helps. If it does, don't keep it a secret. Let someone know that this podcast exists. And if you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, I would really appreciate that. And you can also join my mailing list at info@courtlandwarren.com, info@courtlandwarren.com. If you go to my website, courtlandwarren.com, and you can download the free ebook on power or Kaizen, and that'll add you to the email list. And then once you add yourself to our email list, I haven't been doing it yet, but get ready because I'm about to start stalking you. I'm going to stalk you with great information, jam-packed content, full of value. I promise not to disturb you if I don't believe it will support you, but I got a lot of things that I believe will support you. So thanks a lot. We'll see you next time. And again, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then forward it to 3 people that you believe would get value from this today. That helps us grow, and it puts you in the space of receiving because what you put out does come back. We'll see you next time. We appreciate it.